Oh, welcome back. This is Cruise on a Friday. And I'm here with Andrew Rubio from Putney, North London, same thing. And I'm here with the man from Guildford, Josh Littlemore. Yep. Would you like to wave a little hi to Guildford?
I don't know who I'm waving at.
A message for anyone in Guildford?
Love you guys.
Lottie?
Yep.
Message for her?
Love you lots.
Come on. And we are talking about how they would know us, ... by generosity, guys. We are talking about the topic of generosity.
Yep.
I feel generosity is an act of love. 100% agree with that. It still falls under the category of the scripture that we've been talking about in John 13, how they will know us by love. And I think generosity is a massive act of love.
Yep.
But generosity is not just money, I believe. I believe that, George, that you can tell us what generosity means to you.
Huge. I don't know, man. When you think of generosity, it's a giving of yourself, isn't it? It's a giving of, as you say, it's not just financially, it's your time, even your emotions, and all of this sort of stuff. And, we live in a world that is just not generous, is it? It's all about what can I get for myself?
Yeah.
How can I do something that, raises me up or puts me on a platform or a pedestal or whatever.
Yeah.
Very and natural default is selfishness, isn't it? We wake up in the morning, we think about ourselves all the time. I don't know about you guys, but I certainly do.
Yeah.
But generosity is something that, for me, I have to be intentional with it. Do you know what I mean? I have to almost try and get away from the default setting that I've almost got in my head to think about myself and go, well, let me think about other people.
Yeah.
What can I do for other people?
Yeah.
And that's not a definition, but some thoughts.
I agree.
It's your definition.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I think it's good.
Yeah, I don't think generosity is standard today. I think to be generous, it's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like what am I going to give sacrificially, to someone, whether it could be financially, but I think even more so now, your time.
Yeah.
Everyone's so busy that if you're going to give time to someone, more time than you would, that's also generous.
Yeah.
For real. I feel like, obviously, Jesus, God, the best gift of all time, Jesus died on the cross, that was generosity, had nothing to do with money.
Yeah.
Time is money, they say. A lot of people are stingy with their times now. And most people have been at home, and it feels like it's so hard to get people's time. But I do believe that generosity is a huge package. But I want to ask the question just put out there, have you ever felt like your generosity has been wasted?
Big question.
I hate people wasting my time. I'm guilty. Don't waste my time. I hate it.
Yeah, I agree. I think sometimes, in the moment, you'd feel like I've just wasted my time or whatever. But then thinking about it, maybe nothing really is wasted. Even if you give the time to someone and you try and help them in whatever way, whether it's advice or a conversation or something, even if they go do something else, and you feel like it's a waste, maybe later down the line, it actually comes into practice or, they remember it or something. So.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't even see the fruit now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of the time, if you think about it, the Bible uses a lot talking about plants and all of that, seeds and all of that, doesn't it? It uses those kind of analogies, metaphors.
You get lots of planting Guildford, no Luke.
Yeah, exactly, the trees and everything. But it's real, man. When you think about some of the stuff we do, it's described as we're watering the seeds or we're planting the seeds. You don't see the fruit straight away, do you?
Yeah.
Sometimes with our generosity, I guess it's the same, that we plant stuff now, we do things now that we know is good for this thing to grow, but we don't necessarily see the fruit now.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it can be hard, do you know what I mean? It can be hard because when we're generous at the time, we want to almost see instant results or see some sort of fruit straight away. But sometimes it's further down the line that we actually see that thing.
Yeah, because I think, I just was thinking of that verse where it talks about how God uses everything and he works everything together for the good of his glory. And I think, the Bible also doesn't say, be generous except for these people.
Yeah, right.
Except.
Yep.
Don't be generous with this thing.
Yeah.
It's I think if you're thinking, should I be generous or should I give to this person? Do it. I don't think it's going to be a waste.
Okay, so we can't. You don't feel like generosity can be wasted. What about deserving of it? Does someone have to be deserving of your generosity in that sense? Would you say, okay, cool, you know what, I like you, George, so you know what, Andrew, you're not getting my phone. George can get it. Do you have to deserve something from me in order to give, or how does it work?
It's interesting, man. You look at the example of Jesus. Let's just go back to it, and we spoke about what he did on the cross for us. We didn't deserve it.
Exactly.
Yeah, he did it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very true.
And that's the example Jesus set for us in obviously the biggest thing that he could have done. But even in everything else that he did, you read through the Gospels, like we've spoken about through this month, the different stories of Jesus interacting with people on the earth.
Yeah.
Not many people deserved his time.
Yeah.
The words that he spoke over them, his healing. Like, did they deserve it? No. But Jesus went and he made a difference.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the example he sets for us. We don't have to just do something good for someone we like, or be generous to our best friend, or be generous to our parent. It's actually, we need to go out and we need to make a difference to all people.
Yeah.
Whether they deserve it or not, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I think if we ask the question of like, do they deserve it? That's not grace. Like, we can't just ask ourselves, do we deserve like God's grace? Do we deserve his generosity?
Yeah.
Really, we don't. But that's grace. Like
Yeah.
the fact that he gives it to us anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Like, because it makes me think of this conversation I was having with one of my friends a while ago. So basically, there's this woman, often see around Peckham or Greenwich. Well, she came to me one night, right? She was telling me that she was pregnant. I was like, she's lying, because she came to me like 2 years ago. It was the same question. But she's always coming like she's pregnant. She's like, oh, can you give me money for my electricity key? And I'm like, okay. But then one time I gave her money and I saw her picking up drugs from old mate down the road. So then I was like, I'm not giving her any more money. And then it kind of made us have this conversation of like, did she deserve my money? Did she deserve my generosity? But then obviously with my friend was like, the conversation was like, who am I to say what she's entitled to do with that money once I've given it to her?
Right.
So it's like, what does someone have to be deserving, and then once I've done that deserved sacrifice and that service to your deservers, or however you say it. So you deserve something, and I give you something, then all of a sudden it's like, why do I have to have a say on what you do with what I've been generous with? So for example, if I was generous with my time, like I said earlier, I hate people wasting my time. Why do I have to question it if I feel like you're wasting my time? I should be okay with it because I've already given it to you.
Yeah.
Same way as like if I've given you my money, I should be okay with the fact that you can do whatever you want to do with it. And that's not, to me, same way as like Jesus gave us his life. So yes, there's the standards of living that we have to uphold as his followers, but then yet again, he's never rejected us or told us off for living the life the way we do.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And just to wrap up, I'll go one more question. Is personal experience, yeah? Name a time and where someone gave you what you needed and when you needed it and you didn't expect it. So someone was super generous to you and they gave or did something for you when you really needed it, but you weren't even expecting it.
I've got one. What you think?
Yeah,
That's a tough question, man.
Yeah.
I think that the first thing that comes to mind for me is someone speaking something over me at church and giving of themselves. Because I don't know, when we're in church and stuff and you're like, I feel like I should really encourage someone with this thing, someone specific with this specific thing. It can sometimes be a bit nerve-wracking, or maybe it's not right, or whatever. And I think that I've had times, multiple times where someone said something that's been so real for the situation that I'm in or facing or whatever. And it was them giving of themselves, even a bit of like, not their reputation on the line, because it's not that deep, is it really? But it's like, they're giving of their time, they're giving of themselves to come and encourage me.
Yeah.
And I think, at that moment, I was like, wow, I really needed to hear that.
Yeah.
And so that's an example that I think of. It's got a whole question there.
No, that's good, huh?
My example's actually very similar. So I think I'm thinking of a time when something happened and I was really down, and I texted my mate and kind of explained the situation, and he literally left work early to come meet me and have a chat.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we were talking about generosity. It's not just about money.
Yeah,
it's
right.
time. And he actually sacrificed his reputation or his how his work sees him and stuff.
Yeah.
Just to have that time with me to just listen.
Yeah.
And I think that really made an impact on me and was I really value this friendship that we have.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's great community as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's what we're looking for, building that environment in crews, and we're doing crew conversations and everything. But that's it, isn't it? Getting people
absolutely.
around us who, like-minded people who will go and do that, will sacrifice, and we can be that to other people as well.
Yeah. I've got a funny story just to wrap it up. Is that we're running out of time, but a few years ago, I went on a date with this girl and my bank card declined. So I told the boys and they were all laughing at me and everything like that, which was funny. But same thing, and that's my story in that they all laughed at me, they roasted me, but then they all chipped in and then they gave me money because I was obviously struggling financially back then. And then they were like, oh, this is for you, so that I know you're struggling.
It's awesome.
And to me, that meant the world, but for every single one of them, didn't mean as much because they all chipped in a little bit.
Right.
But to me, meant the whole world.
It's great, man.
So as you're watching at home, guys, share your share your experiences, and actually want us to just become more of a generous people and a community in what we do. And just remember that generosity is not just money, but it's about giving our lives in order to benefit someone else's life.
Yeah.
So until next week, which will be next month, April, see you then.